Hey guys, today we have a 2026 Subaru Uncharted. The Uncharted is one of the newest EVs in Subaru's lineup. It starts at around $35,000, mid-trims go for $40K, and as tested, the GT model, top of the line, will set you back at around $45K. As you can probably tell from looking at it, this thing is very heavily based on a Toyota CHR. It uses Toyota's platform, powertrain, many body panels. So basically what Subaru did is they redesigned front and rear of the vehicle, put their badges on and called it a day. We have two different powertrain options we can choose from. Front-wheel drive, which is crazy to think about that there is a front-wheel drive Subaru. I don't remember when was the last time Subaru offered a front-wheel drive vehicle in the US. Anyways, that model has 221 horsepower and offers up to 308 miles of range. If we get a dual motor all-wheel drive variant, so there are two electric motors, one on each axle, you get 338 horsepower and range of about 278 miles. That depends on your driving style and if you use climate, because that can take away 20 miles of range from you, so not perfect. As of design, I really like what Subaru did with it, and it looks pretty attractive given that they had to work with what Toyota designed. We can take a quick look under the hood, see what's happening there. Super easy to access. And we do not get a frunk. This is where Toyota and Subaru decided to put all powertrain components, but looks like they did a pretty good job isolating wheel wells. There's also some sound deadening material here on the hood, so that's good to see. If you own an EV, let me know if the frunk is actually useful. I usually put charging cables in it or a windshield washer fluid, but besides that, I rely on the cargo area. When it comes to other stuff, this thing has a strut front suspension, multi-link setup in the back, so basically everything that you would expect from a subcompact SUV. Our tester as a GT rides on 20-inch rims, which take away some of the range, like I said, probably around 10 if you upgrade to the 20s. It sits on Geolanders provided by Yokohama. Here's the charge port, uses an NACS plug. Getting from 10 to 80% using 150 kilowatt charger will take 30 minutes. If you use level 2 at home or in the office, you're looking at 6 to 7 hours. It does have an 11 kilowatt onboard charger. Let's take a quick look inside. Talk about the interior space. We can start with the seats, very comfortable, wrapped in synthetic leather. In our tester, they are heated and cold, lots of padding, very easy to find good driving position and proper adjustments. We do get two-way power lumbar support. Going through the door panel, very practical. You can fit two large bottles. All four windows are fully automatic, and we get power folding mirrors. Easy step in height, as you would expect from a Subaru crossover. You have to hit the start button to wake up this thing to life. It's not like very modern EV where you just get inside and car detects you. And when you look at the interior space, it looks normal. Maybe besides the gauge cluster, which was mounted on top of the dashboard, but we have a good amount of physical controls. Everything is easy to access. Decent amount of storage as well, with the exception of glove box. There isn't one because this version has a more of an advanced heating system which heats up the cabin very quickly. It has radiant devices that radiate hot air on the legs in the winter time, so some compromises, but when you look at the storage across the cabin, it's okay. Here's what we have under the armrest, opens up both ways. Some area in between the center console and this control panel and the tunnel. Like I said, pretty decent door pockets, so nothing for me to complain about. Sun visors don't slide, but have an extra extension. And the whole cabin is very nicely made as well. Lots of different materials. They are soft to the touch where they have to be, and it's all solid. I mean, as you would expect from a Toyota or a Subaru product. Plus, there isn't much piano black plastic. A lot of matte surfaces, with the exception of this high traffic area where the gear shifter is. To put it into drive, you have to pull down on it. Same, put it into reverse. As we're in reverse, we can look at the camera system. We do have a 360-degree camera, pretty high resolution. Cannot complain. You can choose different angles. Works okay, looks okay. Nothing for me to complain about. The infotainment system is Toyota connected. Pretty simple interface. We don't have lots of HVAC controls, but we can easily adjust our temperature, fan speed. So not too bad. Automatic climate control for seats, for heated steering wheel. So basically based on the temperature that you select, the car is going to adjust the settings for the seats as well. Something that came out in Lexus cars years ago, but now made it to Toyotas and Subarus. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless. They connect seamlessly without any issues. Again, nothing for me to complain about. Super easy vehicle to live with and to use. Two wireless chargers, so one for your passenger. That's also nice to see. And here we get headlight washers, which as a European man, I love, especially in wintertime. This is a subcompact SUV, so it's not gonna shock you. The door opening isn't all that wide, but you can see how the Uncharted is in the back. You do sit pretty low, and I have to tuck my head because I don't have that much headroom. I have to basically slide a little bit forward. And then my legroom isn't all that great, but again, this is not a family vehicle. It does have nice amenities though. Heated outer seats, 2 USB-C charging ports, climate vents, which not many subcompact vehicles get, pockets in the front seats, and an armrest with cup holders and some storage area. Now, if you look at the design of this dashboard, it will basically remind you of a Subaru Solterra, the Trail Seeker, Toyota BZ, because it's basically the same car, same platform. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. If it works, it works. We can fold the seats from here and get a pretty flat floor. Let's take a look at the cargo area. Not a huge fan of the turn signals being mounted on the lower part of the bumper, but the brake lights are up on the tailgate. Nothing crazy. We do get a 1500 watt AC 120 plug, dual tier storage with charging cable, fix-a kit, and some extra storage under the floor here. Subwoofer for the Harman Kardon system, which sounds okay. And we can remove this cargo cover if needed. Two buttons, one to close the tailgate and one to close it and lock the whole vehicle. All right, let's take this thing for a spin, see how it drives, because it's a pretty compact vehicle with 338 horsepower and a GT in the name. So we'll see what this is all about. So at this point, I've been driving the Uncharted for a couple of days, and one thing I realized is that it's a pretty pleasant vehicle to live with. Yes, you may need to get used to the seating position and the fact that the gauge cluster is on top of the dashboard, the steering wheel squared off, but everything else feels like in an ordinary vehicle that happens to be electric. But there's also a little bit of a fun factor here. Let's quickly stop here and see how this thing accelerates. We have 338 horsepower on board, and it is a GT model. And just like that, we hit 60 in about 5 seconds. Isn't too bad. Typically for an EV, plenty of torque. You get hit with that instant torque. But when you flip it back to normal driving mode or even to eco, the powertrain calibration becomes more subtle. It's super easy to drive this thing. You don't get hit with that instant torque. You can nicely modulate the acceleration. Still, good amount of passing power, good amount of torque, but it drives like an ordinary vehicle. The suspension does an amazing job on any road surface. Compression and rebound are great, and it rides basically like an entry-level luxury vehicle, which is crazy to think. I mean, it's a subcompact SUV that will probably spend most of the time in the city driving around town, but no matter where you go, it will not disappoint you. Great cabin isolation as well. Laminated side windows, something that some luxury vehicles don't get, but this one does. When it comes to handling, it's a mixed bag. That softly tuned suspension means there's gonna be noticeable body roll, and traction and stability control systems are pretty proactive. Still, thanks to its smaller dimensions, I don't want to say it's possible, but you can have a little bit of fun in it on a curvy back road like this one. The car is gonna understeer first, and basically not possible to get it to rotate, but it's fun. Also, brake pedal calibration is fantastic. You cannot tell when the car blends in regen and friction braking. Very nicely done. No feedback from the steering, but you don't need this. It would be cool to see even more powerful variant with slightly stiffer suspension. This could be a pretty fun vehicle to drive. Or if they just made an EV Impreza, I know, sounds controversial, but a small hatch with over 300 horsepower, that'd be something. But yeah, inputs feel very nice. And obviously past 70 miles an hour, it dies down, doesn't accelerate as quickly. But this is a commodity vehicle that is not bought by enthusiasts, but by ordinary people who just need a simple method of transportation. And like I said, the Uncharted is going to excel in that role. The only problem, as you might already know at this point, is energy consumption. We have 75% now of charge left out of a 75 kilowatt hour battery, and the computer is showing us that we only have 186 miles of range. To increase our range, we can turn off climate control, and on a day like today, it's 54 degrees outside, that's okay. But on a hot days or on a cold winter days, there is a penalty, sometimes 20 miles of range, and from promised 270 miles, you go down to 250, which is far from perfect. Cars like Tesla, Model Y, Hyundai Kona EV or Kia Niro EV do better job with energy management, especially the climate part. But with the upgrades that Subaru and Toyota made to this platform, now the car takes up to 150 kilowatts of power using fast charging, so that's pretty okay. Besides that, good set of driver assistance systems, pretty proactive. Typically for Toyota can be annoying with all those beeps and things like that, but I like it more than I thought I would, and makes me question the necessity of a Crosstrek if you live in the city. I know we're comparing apples to oranges, but this is even better when it comes to driving than a Crosstrek. Quieter, smoother, better suspension calibration, no NVH coming from the engine, no whiny CVT. So if you live in a city area and can live with 250, let's say, miles of range, then really consider this, and I have a feeling Subaru will give you a discount on it. All right, I can just pull over here, sum this thing up, see how this Uncharted does on a gravel road. Really well. Alrighty, like I said, very easy vehicle to live with. It's an EV that feels like an ordinary car, basically your normal car that happens to be fully electric. Take a look at it if you're looking for something from this segment. Subaru and Toyota has been making progress with EVs, and really curious to see what they have coming. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say about this thing. If you have any questions, drop a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm gonna hit the back road again and have some fun in it, so stick around if you want to see some dynamic driving. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all later.